How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Okay, well, so in today's episode, I thought I'd try to say a few words about Ecclesiastes. So, if you don't know, Ecclesiastes is known as one of the wisdom books of the Old Testament, alongside the book of Job, Song of Songs, and Proverbs. It was apparently written sometime between 450 and 200 BC, and its author seems to be unknown. Okay, so what I find so interesting and so startling about Ecclesiastes is just how modern it appears to be. I mean, on the one hand, obviously it belongs to a pre-modern culture that believed in God, yet at the same time, all of its major themes seem modern and existential, like most notably the themes of alienation and anxiety caused by a confrontation with the absurdity of life and death. And when I say modern and existential, a good example here might be the views of someone like the 20th century French philosopher Albert Camus. I mean, notice how similar the thoughts of Camus about the absurdity of life are with the whole theme of vanity in Ecclesiastes. That's to say, they both seem to conclude that life is a closed cycle, so to speak, with no ultimate purpose, no discernible purpose. After all, look again at the main theme in Ecclesiastes. Everything, says the preacher there, is vanity and a chasing after the wind, and death is the destiny of every man. In other words, everything is empty and futile and short-lived because the only sure certainty is death. Now, all this is nearly identical to what Camus says. Okay, but here's the thing. Despite the fact that life at least appears to be ultimately meaningless, both Camus and the author of Ecclesiastes still think that life should be lived fully and it should be enjoyed. Now the question is, why and how? Well, I think it partly has to do with the fact that both Camus and the author of Ecclesiastes focus less on approaching life from a rational or intellectual point of view. They don't rely on human reason to try to discover the essence of life. Actually, they both realize the inadequacy of reason to do this. For them, our intellectual perspective is too limited to permit any assurances about the meaning of things. So instead, they both advocate jumping into life with unbounded passion. They just confront the world head on, and it's from this that the life-affirming attitude is born. In other words, in their own ways, they both advocate overcoming alienation and absurdity through the blood and the bones of physical life, through living fully, through a kind of a satiation with material life. I mean, after all, our minds or intellects might be limited, but our bodies are not. We can know something. We can know the world around us. It's something that we can see and feel and smell. The flesh and blood of experience. It's all right here in front of us. A maximal life is at our doorstep, an overabundance of it, actually. And not just play, but work too is here for us. As Ecclesiastes says, we can embrace our toil. In other words, there's a liberation in not trying to understand everything and instead just working in our daily existence. There's freedom in not trying to always be an intellectual spectator of life, but instead a doer, someone engaged with the stuff around us and making that the project of our lives. So, what is all this but to be absolutely, passionately committed to our mortal being? It's not to take anything for granted and to take stock of what you have now before the evil days come and the years draw nigh. It's to take a good look and a good long look around you before the windows are dimmed. It's to look and to listen and to touch and feel and eat and drink and enjoy and love. It's not to spend too much time thinking about matters above the sun, and instead to take advantage only of those things that you can be certain of, to enjoy being alive without theorizing too much about it. It's to take advantage of our youth. It's to enjoy the light of the sun. It's to remember that food and drink and work and love are gifts, whether they come from God or not. Bye for now.